millionaire chemist.
She was very domineering.
The unwanted husband.
This was a vicious divorce.
And the household help. Death in an acid vat.
My dad had 13 wives and about 75 kids.
Polygamy is an excuse to have an affair, justified by God.
Polygamy's runaway bride. It's the video seen around the world, again and again. Now, on A Current Affair, meet the luckiest cop alive.
I should be dead by all practical means.
Cell phone cameras turns into cell phone madness. At the center of the crossroads of the world, Broadway, surrounded by la cage aux folles, little women, all shook up, wicked and dirty, rotten scoundrels. It sounds like an episode of A Current Affair, and it is. Hello and welcome. I'm Tim Green in Times Square, New York City. Now we'll bring you the outrageous and heartbreaking personal story of polygamy's youngest bride in just a few minutes. But first, a small town still stunned today by a murder most foul. The victim literally burned to death in a vat of acid, and his wife is charged with doing it. And if you think that's gruesome, believe me, it gets worse.
This is the Jazz McKay Show. We're talking about the murder
of Timothy Schuster, the torture of Timothy Schuster.
Folks don't usually talk about murder in Clovis, California. This small city outside Fresno is more concerned with tourists. Clovis calls itself the gateway to the Sierras. It's known for miles around for the annual Big Hat Day and, of course, the legendary Clovis Rodeo. But even the nicest cities in America have to talk about murder every once in a while.
Larissa Schuster, James Fagone accused of murdering Larissa's estranged husband, Timothy Schuster. Possibly one of the most heinous crimes I've ever heard about in my life, and it happened right here in Clovis, California, folks, the quiet
community of Clovis.
The story begins in one of the city's more wealthy neighborhoods, in this house on Vermont Avenue. Larissa and Tim Schuster moved here from Missouri with their two kids, Katie and Tyler.
He was kind of a meek, mild guy, very likable guy. She, on the other hand, was very domineering.
Tim was a nurse at St. Agnes Hospital. Larissa was an accomplished chemist in the Pan Ogg laboratory.
She exhibited behavior that is and was and always will be totally unacceptable in a manager.
This is my lab, and you're gonna do it my way.
Eventually, Larissa opened up her own business called the Central California Research Labs. She owned 51% of it, and though he didn't work there, Tim owned 49%. But in 2002, shortly before their 20th anniversary, Larissa and Tim Schuster split up.
This was a vicious divorce. I mean, these people were not happy with each other.
The couple fought over custody of their 12-year-old son, Tyler. They also fought over their research lab. Because the little business they shared had snagged a contract with Bayer Aspirin, it was worth millions.
They were in the process of getting things worked out. I will say, though, it was not without a good deal of hostility.
Tim moved out while Larissa and son Tyler stayed in the family home. Then, one day, she began getting a lot of help around the house from this young man. At 21, James Fagone was half Larissa's age.
He was her babysitter, he was her caretaker.
Most folks say James Fagone was a straight arrow, a bright, religious young man. In high school, he was a leader in the ROTC. But opinions would change after the night of July 9th, 2003. Police say that was when James Fagone helped Larissa kidnap her estranged husband and burn up his body in a barrel of acid. After Tim Schuster didn't show up at St. Agnes on July 10th, police called in Larissa. Within a few days, they brought in James Fagone. According to police, he told them quite a story about the evening of July 9th. James told police that he, Larissa, and Tyler spent the evening watching a movie starring Weird Al Yankovic. Police say that when the movie ended, Larissa put Tyler to bed and told James to get the equipment she'd given him money to buy: a stun gun, zip ties, and a bottle of chloroform. He said that about 2 a.m., Larissa picked him up in her Lexus, and they drove to Tim's house. Police say James told them he hid in the bushes, while Larissa called Tim on the cell phone, telling him Tyler was sick. Tim opened the door.
Fagoni comes out of the bushes, and he hits him with a stun gun, repeatedly.
Police say Fagoni told them that Larissa covered Tim's mouth with chloroform rags and tied him up with the zip ties. Then they allegedly dragged him into his truck.
Now, bear in mind, folks, too, before we go any further, this guy is moaning, this guy is groaning, this guy is shifting around. He's alive.
James Fagoni said he drove the truck and followed Larissa's Lexus back to her house. Police say he told them Tim was still alive when they shoved him into a blue plastic barrel. Still alive when Larissa leaned over the barrel and poured in bottles of acid. But she couldn't close the lid. It was at that point that, according to Fagoni, Larissa took out a hacksaw.
Of all the things that have come up, the business about cutting off his feet is the most chilling to me.
The day James Fagoni allegedly confessed, police found Tim's body in a rented storage unit. On July 16th, they arrested Larissa at the airport in St. Louis. She and Tyler had been on their way to Disney World. The city of Clovis is still waiting to find out the true nature of James Fagoni's relationship with Larissa Schuster.
Just the fact that this kid is involved, it just makes you wonder what's really going on.
Both Larissa Schuster and James Fagoni have pled not guilty. They've been in jail since they were arrested and are awaiting trial. Meanwhile, everyone in town is hoping that when the city of Clovis is mentioned, folks will still think of the rodeo.
This is real-life Stephen King horror that happened right here in the small, quiet, Mayberry-type community of Clovis.
It did get worse, didn't it? The trial starts in August. We'll be back here in Times Square in just a moment.
My dad had 13 wives and about 75 kids. Both of my sisters married their half-brothers.
Polygamy's runaway bride. Next. Coming up, another disturbing new trend in Britain. They call it happy slapping. Unprovoked brutality videotaped on cell phones. And later, this was yesterday. Horrendous. This is today. Meet Super Cop.
There's one thing that's true about cable. You can't take it with you. TVs are hot items in anything that rolls. And now there's a way to get hundreds of channel choices. Satellite TV. See if it's right for your ride. Friday on the Fox 13, 10 o'clock news.
I know you're in there. Not you.
It's not the same old West. Try a Flo's filet with a shrimp and scallop skewer. Longhorn Steakhouse. There's a new West in town.
The only thing bigger than the list of features on the 2005 GMC Envoy SLT is the offer. Qualified lessees lease an 05 Envoy two-wheel drive SLT for around $329 a month. Call for residency restrictions and lease details. See the pros at your Florida GMC dealers.
In the beginning, there were two rooms-to-go showrooms in Orlando. After that, there was no stopping us. We added stores, added states, becoming America's largest furniture company. Now with 100 stores, giving people more. Like this year's big deal, next-day delivery. Celebrating our 100th store with 100 hot values. Bonus savings in every department in Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Alabama. 100 stores, 100 specials, 100 reasons to shop, rooms to go.
Get the branding iron! Whoa, Billy, flank him. Stay on top of that leg. You guys really kicking over here. Here we go, fellas. Let him up. Go on, little fella. Get on out of here. Go on.
It's not the same old West with Longhorn's Wild West Shrimp. Longhorn Steakhouse. There's a new West in town.
Tomorrow, you could win front row seats to the big American Idol show coming this summer.
And Elvis will be in the building, a preview of Tampa's Elvis Weekend.
All on Good Day tomorrow.
It's the little women, the underage girls trapped in polygamy who are its saddest victims. Welcome back to Times Square and a current affair. She's one of the victims in the scourge called polygamy. She somehow survived a childhood of confusion and misery and perverse behavior by adults. But in the end, her story is one of courage and endurance, living with the scars, fighting for her place in life and peace in her heart. Here's our Arthel Neville.
I was molested for as long as I can remember, until about 12.
Luann Kingston Cooper claims she never knew the innocence of childhood. When she was in the 9th grade, she was married off to this man, Jeremy Kingston.
He is my first cousin as well as my nephew. He's my half-brother's son and my aunt's son. I was wife number 4.
Luann says her story is typical of women trapped in a lifestyle of polygamy in general, and the Kingston family in particular.
The Kingstons are one of Utah's most successful polygamous clans, with holdings that include accounting firms, finance companies, shopping centers, and cattle ranches.
The Kingston Group is said to be worth millions, if not billions of dollars, because they believe in the law of consecration, and that's where all of the people gathered their resources together in different business enterprises. And of course, the prophet and the leader in the priesthood controls all of the money.
In the context of the polygamous world, Luann was born into royalty as the daughter of John Ortel Kingston, former leader of the Kingston clan.
My dad had 13 wives, and last I heard he had about 75 kids. I remember him coming to the house like 2 or 3 times in my life, and that was to visit my mom and my aunt, who was also who is also married to him.
But what allegedly distinguishes the Kingstons are their unusual theories about preserving their bloodline.
Both of my sisters married their half-brothers.
There appears to be a lot of incest in the Kingston Group, and this comes from the doctrine that God came down on earth and had sex with his daughter, who was Mary, and as a result, we have Jesus Christ.
A Kingston spokesperson told A Current Affair, "We are a small community, and some children do grow up and marry within the community, as with other small communities." Luann's father reportedly developed his genetic concepts while raising cattle, apparently oblivious to the repercussions of inbreeding.
Many of the Kingston children now need kidney transplants because there's a genetic mutation that has gone on. And there are children being born with fused arms and legs, a lot of mental illness, lots of schizophrenia.
In 1995, at age 15, Luann says she was told to drop out of school and marry her 24-year-old nephew because church elders believed she had too many friends outside the group.
We went on our honeymoon for about 5 days, and it was just really weird because I am alone with this person that I don't know, and he wants to have sex every night. Marriage didn't feel different from being molested.
Like the other wives, Luann worked at Kingston-run businesses for what she calls a minuscule salary.
The money just goes back into the system to buy more businesses and to make more money.
Luann claims this forces some of the Kingston wives to sift through dumpsters.
It's free food, and they've got 8 or 9 or 10 kids to support on a $6 an hour income.
But a Kingston spokesperson told us the group's wages are at mainstream market or well above. Furthermore, the statement said young people are encouraged to wait until 18 before entering into a committed relationship. And with respect to Luann, the group claims that she had the free agency and made the final decision to marry. But critics insist that polygamy invariably leads to jealousy in the bedroom.
I cannot see that it is ever possible that 2 women can share one man and there isn't going to be a problem, and there isn't going to be jealousies, and there isn't going to be pulling him apart.
Kelly Cox considers herself an unwitting expert on polygamy. Her 19-year marriage disintegrated, she maintains, after her husband decided to take a plural wife.
Polygamy is an excuse to have an affair, justified by God.
During her polygamous marriage, Luann lived separately from her husband with 2 daughters, Amber, now 7, and 5-year-old Sarah.
I was expected to have a plate ready to hand to him as soon as he walked in the door. He actually told me I needed to keep beans in my house, so he sold me a bucket of beans for $5.
Still, on rare occasions, Kingston women have openly defied the group. In 1999, David Ortel Kingston was sentenced to up to 10 years in prison for marrying his 16-year-old niece, Marianne. In the same case, her father, John Daniel, was sentenced to 28 weeks for whipping her with a belt when she tried to flee the marriage.
We're very disappointed as to what has happened. We think that it's because of our family and who we are. I think we've been treated very unfairly.
Nonetheless, the case awakened something in Luann.
I mean, I wanted to leave, but I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Assistance came from an unexpected source, a group of missionaries associated with the mainstream Mormon church who had found out about Luann's plight from a cousin who had left the Klan earlier. On May 5, 2000, when Luann was 20, missionaries helped her load her belongings into her car. But before Luann could drive away, she says she was confronted by her sister.
My kids were in the back seat, and so she tried to open the door, and she said, but the door is locked. And she said, "You give me those kids. You do not deserve to have those kids." My cousin was driving, and my sister was holding onto the door, and, you know, she finally let go and started chasing us down the street, just crying and sobbing. It was so hard because I was so close to my sister.
Luann was finally free, but she wasn't finished with Jeremy Kingston.
I went to the Attorney General's office and asked them to prosecute.
The charge? Third-degree felony incest.
They went forward and did DNA testing to make sure that the kids were his.
In court, Jeremy, surrounded by sympathetic family members, expressed compassion for his runaway spouse and their kids.
I have no ill feelings towards Luann. I care about her and her family, her children, and I want the best for them.
But Jeremy also admitted to a sexual relationship with his underage aunt, and on January 26, 2004, he was sentenced to a year in prison. This one-time child bride now believes the decision was a step towards righting the wrongs of her marriage and her ancestry.
Every time you hear of a polygamous situation, molestation always comes up. There is such horrendous abuse in every aspect, physical, sexual, mental, it's all there. It's all there, and it's because of the polygamous lifestyle that they live. That just needs to stop.
It's got to be incredibly hard to fight your way out of something like that. And Luann, we want to thank you for speaking out and trying to help end this sickness. Tomorrow, the Lost Boys, young men who are forced to leave by older polygamous men who don't want any competition for the younger women. All right, we'll be back here in Times Square in just a moment.
Happy Slap TV.
Slap and Run, all recorded on cell phones. It's violent, stupid, and sweeping Britain. That's next. And coming up, the policeman who only yesterday went through this, today is here to tell us about it.
Baby back ribs, Friday and Saturday nights at Golden Corral. Best rib deal in America. Ooh, baby. Only at Golden Corral.
I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's just, it's jammed or something.
What are you doing?
Step back.
Please.
What are you doing in my car?
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines from Florida to the Northeast for just $79 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Introducing Chex Mix for Kids. The first snack with loads of fun-shaped cheesy crackers, pretzels, and wholesome Chex pieces for kids to turn into anything. And they're baked, not fried. New Chex Mix for Kids in cheddar, triple cheese, and pizza. It's hard to imagine a better snack.
Kick it.
Everyone's going to Checkers for 99-cent cheeseburger choices.
Pick your favorite pepper jack, Swiss, or American cheeseburgers. Now just 99 cents each. So go to Checkers, because you gotta eat.
Gotta eat.
Welcome to the Ocean Jewel, Western Florida's biggest casino. Cool. With 1,000 of your favorite slots, from pennies to high limits.
That's hot.
All the table game action you can handle.
Now that's cool.
Even a high-stakes poker room.
Very hot.
Enjoy live entertainment, our sports book, and 7 bars.
That's hot.
We've got your game, and you can come and go as you please. Cool. So what are you waiting for? The Ocean Jewel Casino. Hot games, cool casino.
Your forecast calls for the new Hyundai Santa Fe. With its standard V6 engine and standard ABS and traction control. It's the winner of Strategic Vision's 2004 Total Value Award. And Hyundai's quality lets us offer America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. All for a sunny $4,800 less than a Toyota Highlander when comparably equipped. The Hyundai Santa Fe, starting at just $19,744. At Hyundai. Get a 2005 Hyundai Santa Fe with up to $2,500 cash back at your local Hyundai dealer.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Alarm clocks. They deserve a good meal. Like the wide variety of omelets and eggs at Golden Corral, all made to order. Plus grilled ham and smoked sausages and much more, all on the breakfast buffet. Golden Corral. Everyone deserves a good meal.
Well, you can find dirty, rotten scoundrels all around the globe, and we found some in Britain. Welcome back to A Current Affair. We're at the crossroads of the world. Now, the scoundrels in this story commit random acts of violence for fun on video. It's a new craze. It's called happy slapping, and it stinks. Here's our Harris Faulkner.
They've given us the Beatles and the miniskirt, but there's one British fad you'd better hope doesn't make it to America. Shot on video phones by teenagers out looking for kicks, here's what the latest craze from across the pond looks like. They call it happy slapping, but if you get a starring role in one of these amateur video clips, you won't be happy about it.
One of them clobbered me around the back of the head with a rolled up newspaper, and as I turned around to confront him, another one whacked me around the front of the head. I noticed there were 2 or 3 others that were just pointing their mobile phones at me.
James Silver, a freelance journalist in London, got a nasty first-hand introduction to happy slapping.
There were a bunch of kids just loitering, and the way they were looking at me, I knew something was up.
And that's when something like this happened to him.
Happy Slap TV.
These are actual happy slapping incidents, shot by the perpetrators themselves using video phones.
Gangs of youths will go up to an unsuspecting person, do something violent towards them, whilst one member of that group records the attack on their 3G phone.
People like Nicola Kerr of Kidscape Child Welfare Agency say happy slapping has everybody watching out for teenagers armed with video cell phones.
I know certainly a lot of friends of mine now are getting worried that they're not going to speak to anybody that comes up to them in the street brandishing a mobile phone.
There have been more than 200 happy slapping cases reported in London, and what's worse, James expects happy slapping to make its way to American soil.
It's probably only a matter of time before similar attacks are seen in the US.
I bet you someday, somewhere, someone's going to slap one of those guys back with a baseball bat. All right, can you believe the officer in this video lived? He wasn't even seriously injured, and he's here to tell us all about it next.
What comes to mind when you think outdoor Florida fun? Who said tank tops? Now save 50% on all tank tops at Bell's. Don't forget the sunscreen. Live the Florida lifestyle. Bell's.
It's go time at Toyota's nationwide sales drive with phenomenal selection at every turn. Check out the Toyota Sienna, just named the best pick by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Right now, get up to $1,000 cash back or 1.9% APR financing for 36 months on the 05 Sienna. Visit your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com today. Toyota's nationwide sales drive is on now, owning the winner's circle. Now that's moving you forward.
Florida, such an ideal vacation paradise. Even Floridians vacation here. Right now at Bell's, save 50% on all luggage. So pack up. There's a lot of Florida to see. Live the Florida lifestyle. Bell's.
promotional consideration for a current affair provided by...
It's a new American Idol special with the best of the worst from around the world.
Everybody's heard about the
The world's worst auditions.
It all starts tonight at 9 on Fox 13.
From the day we're born, there are certain milestones we're each meant to celebrate. Before you know it, you're at the next one. And eventually, right back where you started. The Publix Bakery is happy to be part of all your life celebrations. Custom decorated cakes from the expert decorators at the Publix Bakery. Publix, where serving you has been our pleasure for 75 years.
This Memorial Day, get comfortable with family and friends and get free financing till June 2008 at Sofa Express's Memorial Day sale preview, including the North Bay sofa, now just $399. Get guaranteed low factory direct sale prices and next day delivery on everything in the store. And you can even get custom orders. The Memorial Day sale preview now at Sofa Express. Here today, home tomorrow.
Splash into summer with huge savings at Rec Warehouse. Jump into a complete pool package for just $5.99, or slip into a 7-foot Super Lounger spa for just $7.99. Huge savings on chemicals, accessories, cleaners, toys, and games. No interest for 12 months. This week only at Rec Warehouse.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I'd like to return these checks. You put the bank's address on them instead of mine.
Okay, that's a new printing fee, a transaction fee, and of course a conversation fee.
Conversation fee?
We'll have to charge you for this little chat we're having. 3 pronouns, 7 verbs.
What?
Oh, emotional outburst fee. Well, those can be steep. You'll have to write us a check.
Fed up with fees? Try Washington Mutual. Our free checking has no teller fees, no fine print, no surprises.
There you go. Have to charge you for that.
Washington Mutual.
Satellite TV. See if it's right for your ride. Friday at 10.
One guy who's all shook up today is this miracle man from Minnesota. This police video is not to be believed. First, just take a look at what happened yesterday as an officer assists a motorist stuck by the highway in Little Canada, Minnesota. Unbelievable. And as you watch it in slow motion, it seems even more incredible that 35-year-old Deputy Glenn Poden is still alive, no serious injuries, and talking with us 24 hours later. Deputy, what do you think when you watch this tape?
Watching the video, I cannot believe that I'm actually standing, let alone alive.
Are you even hurt?
I have some minor bumps and bruises and some soreness and muscle stiffness, but that is it.
Did you lose consciousness when this happened?
No, I did not. What I remember is hearing some what sounded like tires skidding on the pavement, started to turn around. Next thing I know, I'm looking up at the sky. Next thing I know, I'm laying in the weeds and hearing one of the troopers that was out assisting calling on the radio.
First, has your wife seen the tape, and what did she say?
She can't believe that that I'm still here standing today with the injuries that I have being so minor.
A miracle, right?
Without a doubt in our mind, God was watching over me that day, as well as everyone else that was at the scene.
All right, thanks, Deputy Poden. Hey, be careful out there, will you?
I will, thank you very much.
All right, and you folks be careful too. That's our show today, right here from Times Square. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Green. See you next time.